creepy last words people said right before dying. Registered nurse Emily Thompson said that she had a female patient who was dying of cancer. The patient had grown increasingly anxious in her last days. She often complained of a strange sulfuric smell in her room. "It's getting stronger," she said one evening. Emily, who was accustomed to the odd perceptions of the dying, tried to reassure her, but the patient's haunted eyes told another story. That night, she gripped Emily's hand with surprising strength, her breath coming in shallow gasps. "He's here," she whispered. "Who's here?" Emily asked. "The devil's here. He's waiting for me." Her voice cracked. Her face twisted in terror as she turned her gaze to the dark corner of the room. "I did terrible things," she said. "Things no one knows." The nurse followed her stare, but there was nothing there. The patient's lips parted as if to scream, but only silence came. Her body convulsed, then fell still. Emily said that the smell of sulfur lingered in that room long after the patient died. Michael said that he used to work as a paramedic, and one night he was trying to keep a man stable after a horrible car crash. He said that the ambulance tore through the street with the sirens screaming, but all that he could focus on was the guy gasping for breath on the stretcher. He was barely holding on after they pulled him from the wreckage. Michael said that he had an oxygen mask on him trying to keep him stable, when suddenly he ripped it off with this wild look in his eyes. "No, listen," he choked. "I saw them when they pulled me out. The horsemen, hooded, watching me." Michael said, "What? Who?" The man's icy fingers dug into his wrist. "They had no eyes," he said. His whole body shivered. "They're following us. I can hear them." Then, just like that, Michael said that he went still and flatlined. Michael said that for a second, all he could hear was the hum of the road beneath them. And then he says that maybe it was his imagination, but he swears that he heard hoofbeats, fast and heavy, keeping pace with the ambulance. Rachel said that she had been caring for a female patient who was dying of stage 4 lung cancer for weeks. She was frail, her voice barely more than a whisper, but sharp as ever. One night, during her rounds, Rachel said that the patient stopped her with the question. "Did you see him?" she asked. "See who?" asked Rachel. "The man in the suit. He comes when the lights are low, stands by the window. He's handsome, but his eyes..." She shuddered. "He keeps asking me if I want to make a deal," she said. "He says he can take it all away. The pain, the sickness. I tell him no every night. Every night I tell him no," she said. Rachel said that she thought it was the morphine talking, until her last night. She gripped Rachel's hand and whispered, "He's angry tonight. I told him no again." Her breathing grew heavier. "He said it was my last chance." Rachel squeezed the patient's hand and told her to rest, but as she turned to leave, a chill ran down her spine. The room felt different, heavy even. An hour later, the patient had passed away. Rachel said that she whispered a quiet goodbye and glanced out the window. For a split second, she said that she swears she saw something, a figure in a black suit, watching, and then just as quickly, he was gone.